Hello and welcome to Sunday Night Story Time. My name is Andrea Lendy and I wrote the book Life After Lupus, What's Your Autoimmune Name? I know these days so many people are being diagnosed with autoimmune, and way back sometime in the yesteryears, I had been diagnosed with lupus and fibromyalgia, but I healed from both of those. And about 15 years later, had another bout of lupus, and that only lasted 3 weeks. It came in the form of Graves' disease the next time and was coupled with lupus. But Graves' disease is simply an autoimmune attack of the thyroid. So found myself sick again once more, and again that fix was super quick. So I'm sharing a chapter or two every week on Sunday evening to share my journey in the hopes that it will open up the possibility of healing to someone else. I know when we get these chronic illness diagnoses, we think it's going to last forever, and oftentimes it does, but there are things that we can do to live healthy. And I'm not the only one to tell this story. This is just my story, but I've heard from other people as well, implementing things in terms of dietary and chemicals around them. When we remove those things, people's bodies heal. We were given this body that has an amazing ability to heal. We don't question it if we get sick with a cold or if we get a cut or scrape on our arm. We just expect to heal. And I expected to heal from autoimmune. And in fact, I did. So one of the reasons I think is because I was always seeking a way to be well, not thinking I would be sick for the rest of my life. In fact, I couldn't even imagine being sick at 30 years old until I would no longer be on this planet. So for me, it was an all-out war, and I was consumed with getting well. But this beginning story part is kind of what I went through as I was sick, because I was sick the first time for 3 years. Welcome, glad you're here with me tonight. And I can't quite tell who is exactly here, but I apologize for that, but thank you nonetheless. So as I'm reading these initial chapters here, this is what I initially went through in some of the times during this 3-year period that I was sick the first time. And this one, the first chapter I'm going to read tonight is called Comfortable, and I was quite uncomfortable elsewhere other than being at home. So home was it was just a very comfortable place for me to be. But so as I share these chapters with you, just want to shed some light on what it's like to be sick constantly, every day, waking up sick, going to bed sick, living throughout the day. But there is hope, because I was able to heal, and I'm very grateful for that healing. It was a divine walk, truly. God led me to the next step every single time, what I needed to do to bring health and healing to my body. So this first chapter, called Comfortable. As most people with a significant illness feel, I was most comfortable at home. Other places caused discomfort in some way. Maybe the lighting would bother me, or sounds or smells or other sensory issues would bring on a level of uncomfortableness that I didn't experience at home. Therefore, I didn't often want to leave our home to do much of anything. I did work during those years, though, but as soon as I got home, that was where I stayed. Of course, this leaves one feeling very isolated and can lead to not only a solitary life, but low moods. When we're seeing the same four walls, right, all the time, we can get kind of like how we've been this last year with the pandemic. I was trying to process this illness and all the pain that went along with it. It was easiest to do this in the comfort of my own home. One added comfort I had at that time was the constant closeness I had with God. He became my solace and my strength. I knew He was leading me every step of the journey, and I leaned on Him for everything. His presence during these years changed my life forever. And that was the beauty that came out of this illness, and experiencing all the pain and all the yuck that I did experience. Was God was so close during those years, and He used those years to transform my heart, transform my life, redirect my life in the way that it should go. If you're just joining, you may or may not know that I was a pilot, and for 5 years between the ages of 25 and 30, I pursued aviation. Absolutely loved to fly, and was going through all my ratings and had become a flight instructor and was teaching people how to fly, and it was just like the best ever. But God stopped me in my tracks at the age of 30 and said a big nope. Nope, that wasn't going to happen, and that wasn't the way he wanted me to go. So my illness was truly a redirection in my life, and I am forever grateful for that. That's kind of the bigger picture of and during those times when I was so sick, and I think I've shared this before as well, but there were many nights I went to bed and I wasn't sure I would wake up the next morning. And when we sort of hang in this limbo of between death and life, the veil is lifted just a little bit and we get a little closer walk with the Lord. He truly does come in all of his wonder and magnificence and power, and does a work in us. So it was a beautiful time. The next chapter, since it is so short, I'm going to read a couple chapters this evening. It's just one more paragraph called Body Changes. So many changes happened to my body over the 3-year period. The pain was always there, but there were other changes as well. I had lost an enormous amount of weight. I weighed 105 pounds at my lowest, which is what I weighed when I was 13 years old. So I looked like this 13-year-old at the age of 30. My weight would remain under 110 pounds for quite some time. My body literally looked like a child's body. At that time, I made a pact to myself that I would never complain about being overweight if I should find myself in that place in the future. The struggle to keep weight on was so enormous that I would welcome the opposite. Neither being too small or large is optimal, but when my life hung in limbo, I felt so helpless to change the circumstance I was in as my body was bombarded with this disease. Hey, Dawn, thanks for joining. So you are the one that came. I couldn't quite tell just by the picture, but I appreciate you being here this evening. I did eventually gain a number of pounds back, and I did stay on a plant-based diet for about 10 years. And during those 3 years, I ate nothing but vegetables for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. At some point, I was able to add in some rice. So that was a tasty addition to my everyday and every meal plan. But I stayed away from, I didn't eat any dairy, any wheat, no gluten, no sugars, nothing like that. And it was interesting. I was thinking the other day, I probably need to do that again, breakfast, lunch, dinner, vegetables, because I didn't experience any sugar highs and lows. I didn't get the fatigue in terms of after you eat, the biggest example would be after eating a holiday dinner and then crashing for the next couple of hours. I had none of the afternoon fatigue like that. I mean, I was always tired, but I didn't have those sugars, highs and lows. So, and as I got well, every day I experienced something. But a couple years down the road, as I was experiencing that little bit of healing coming my way, I noticed that I wasn't having any of those highs and lows. So I really probably should go back to that. But I did maintain a healthy weight in the 120s or so for many, many years, and then was able to have our children, which was truly a blessing. I know there were so many people who saw me afterwards, knew I had gotten really sick, and they thought I would never be able to have children. So the redirection that God did provide in my life also gave me an opportunity to experience the biggest blessings of my life, and that's in my 3 young men now, baby boys at the time. So very, very thankful that I was well enough to carry those all and have beautiful, healthy babies that are now young adults. So God does redirect our lives in different ways, and we all get to walk our own journey, that is for sure. But I believe our journey is keeps us close to Lord God Almighty. That's kind of his plan. So leaning on him, I've been reading chapters or verses about that this week in the Bible, leaning on the Lord for everything, trusting in him that he has a plan. He always has a plan. We find God in the details for sure of our lives, even when we think he's not watching. Maybe we think he's abandoned us, and the fact is he does not ever abandon us. He has a plan. And my prayer for you, Dawn, is that you will experience health and wellness, and that will be yours to have before your journey here on this planet ends. But thanks so much, Dawn, for being here tonight, and anyone else who watches on replay, appreciate it. Hopefully just giving you some of that hope and inspiration that healing is truly possible. I have had that experience twice in my life, and very thankful that God had brought me through both of those challenges with great health now these days, and expect that to continue through the end of my life. So thanks for joining me here tonight on Sunday Night Story Time. May your week be blessed. Thank you.